1000. Labour apparently are to make gender change easier with only one doctor needed to sign it off. I don't really care one way or the other, I must admit, but there we are.
What do you mean?
Well,
you don't care? But, I
if
mean,
you
it can
wanted to
affect
change your
Yeah, but what if
gender-
it's an under 16-year-old? Yeah, not for kids though. Over
Well, no,
18.
hang on. Nobody under the age
I think
of
she'd be
16
25 or
should be
something.
allowed to even think
Well, 18,
about
surely
it.
18, because he's still a child at 16.
All right, 18. But I don't think any child.
But then they
should
say
be.
it's too late because they've been through puberty. But it's a very.
What worries me, what annoys me, is these activists who go around shouting their pathetic mouths off and making it a huge deal
And grooming children.
when it, well, in a way, yeah, when
like
it is
that
a
Hollyoaks
small, when it is a small percentage of a small percentage, if
and
you
then
see
they
what I
regret
mean.
it. You hear people regret it, and it's too late.
Anyway, let's talk to Joanne Lockwood, who is the founder of See Change Happen. Here we are. So, Joanne, what have I made it clear that obviously you don't mean making it easier for anybody under the age of 18?
All I would like to see is a more humanised process that doesn't start from the premise that being trans is wrong or being broken.
But
We
nobody
need to
said it
stop
was.
people living their lives. No,
Nobody said it is or was.
But the tone often is around making it harder for people to be trans.
Well, because we change our minds
actually
regularly.
Well, we don't change our minds regularly. There's lots of talk about detransitioners, and I'm not saying some people reevaluate who they are, their sense of self.
So let me just get
and they
this
come to
from you
different
before we go
conclusions.
on, okay? Because I have a very good friend who transitioned. Nobody made any fuss about it. She lives a great, perfect life now as a woman and gets on with it. And it's all fine. So, and there are a lot of people like her. So this is a fuss made about nothing. But if you're telling me that you think it should be easier for somebody under the age of 16, 18 to change sex, then I think that's appalling.
I didn't say that.
No, I know. That's what I'm asking to try and understand. Do you believe that it should be easier for children?
I believe that children, young people, should be listened to. And as per the Cass report, which I'm sure you've read the Cass report,
No, I haven't.
quite clearly
Sorry
states that the
about that.
NHS has been failing people for many, many years. And what we need is better support from NHS professionals who understand and can deal with people in a holistic way around autism, mental health, and their gender identity. So there's a holistic support we need to provide. And at the moment,
I'm sorry, but
it's
that's not
woefully
right.
inadequate.
That's
It's
not right.
woefully inadequate.
Apparently, over 90% of trans kids detrans. They think one minute they would like to be of another sex, and then they go on to decide that they don't. Now, I'm sorry, but I have been through childhood. I know you find that very difficult to believe, but I have actually been through childhood. And I changed my mind from wanting to be John Wayne to wanting to be
Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe.
Each day by day.
No. But I changed my mind. You are going to get sacked.
No, but the point is, 20, 30 years ago, there were 40 people on the trans register. Now there's like thousands. It's a fashion, isn't it? Kids are talking themselves. It obviously is because of that fact.
A fashion, really?
Well, I'm just saying 30
it would
years
be
ago,
much-
there was
it-
about
let
40
him
or
answer
50
the
people.
question.
But hang on a minute, it would be much easier for me to buy a Harley Davidson and have a midlife crisis that way than gender transition. There's so much social stigma. There's so many barriers.
Well, it should be
in
easier
the
to buy
way
a
of
motorbike
older
than
young
change your
trans
body.
people or younger trans people.
It's
I'm not saying
reversible
we
though,
should make it
buying a
easier.
Harley. You can take it back, but you can't if you do biological.
The point I'm trying to make is that the point you were trying to raise there is a lifestyle, it's a choice, it's a trend, it's a fad.
Yeah. And
People
when you're a
who
kid, that's
are
what you do.
Not
trans.
always, not all of them, but some kids are easily swayed, aren't they?
Some kids are easily swayed. Some young people will go along with what's popular on social media and other things, which is why I'm saying, and it's critical that we have adequate support from gender specialists in the NHS, timely, not just for the child, but for the parents and for people around them. That's where people have been let down because the support has been woefully inadequate. There's excessive waiting times.
But what age
It's
should they be
I'm not
given?
advocating.
it's a minority thing that's going on here. It's not a majority thing. It's a minority. And we've got a lot of people whose lives are on the line because of people going up for all kinds of consultations, want to find out if their mental health
We see a
is all
similar
right or not.
pattern. We see a similar pattern with diagnosis of autism, ADHD, and neurodiversity. where there's
Because
insufficient
it
resources
used to
in
be.
play to allow children and young people and their parents to access skilled professionals
Yeah.
who are trained in this. And that's the failing.
Well, maybe
It's
some more
lack
people
of
need to get
resources.
trained.
I'm sorry, so please say that again.
Maybe more people should get trained. Why didn't you get trained to do one of these things?
Well, if you look at the gender identity clinic and the gender recognition panels and the process, it requires licensed gender care specialists who specialize in endocrinology
And are you one?
mental health and gender studies. That's what we need. We need more of those people. And
But they might still be wrong. They might still
Hang
be
on
wrong.
just a
in what
minute,
they-
Ash. Shush. Are you one of those?
One of those what? What you're accusing me of now?
No,
What-
I'm
what
not
am-
accusing
one
you of
what?
anything. I'm asking you questions. If you're defensive, it makes me wonder why.
No,
Are you one of those specially trained people to do? You're founder of See Change Happen, so presumably you are well educated in what you're talking about, and maybe one of these people who can give advice to someone.
I'm not educated.
You're not.
I speak from my own self.
You've
In the
seen
same
it.
way that you're not educated either, and you're speaking from
No,
yourself.
he's not
So
educated.
between us.
I've lived a lot longer than you. That's my education.
Have you had irreversible operations done to yourself?
I've done things to my body and through hormones, through other interventions that are
Well, just
probably
hormones,
irreversible, yes.
chemical, or have you had actual?
You want me to lift my skirt up and
No,
show you
I
what I've
don't.
got
Just
between my
tell me.
legs? No. Well, I don't think that's polite,
No, you
is
don't
it,
have to.
really?
No,
I mean,
no,
I
it
don't
doesn't matter.
ask to see
But-
your.
Well, no, I don't know.
Let's take it back down. Do you think children should be given puberty blockers?
Where appropriate, and we already are prescribing
What
puberty
is
blockers for
appropriate?
precocious puberty.
What is appropriate?
Precocious puberty they've been prescribing those for 40 odd years. These aren't dangerous drugs that people keep banning out in the media. There is a history of being prescribed, and the CAS report doesn't stop them being prescribed for precocious puberty. So they're not dangerous.
Who other than trans kids would they be prescribed for?
Many children go through
For
what's
what
called
reason?
precocious puberty. They start puberty prior to the age of 11, 12, 13. Sometimes when they're 5 or 6, they may well be on puberty blockers for many years of their life. These children are being supported
But
through
there
medical
are
professionals.
many children who are in that situation who don't go on puberty blockers, and I believe
Well, it can be carcinogenic
I
in later
believe
life, can't it? Can give you
that
cancer
they
and stuff.
eventually go through puberty in what you might consider their own time. It's the same way
Yeah,
that a woman
absolutely,
goes through the
absolutely.
menopause. Some goes through earlier than other people.
But sometimes there's hormonal intervention. If someone is under height, they did it with Lionel Messi. But that's a biological. That's an intervention for medical reasons. And I suppose you're saying it is medical reasons.
Well, I think if you look at a lot of studies, it's less than 1% regret rate. And I appreciate
Is
every
that true?
person who
Is
makes
that-
a mistake.
Are you sure about that? That's
That's
not what
the
it says
statistics
here.
I'm looking at.
90% are saying they do trans. So I mean,
90%.
Well, yeah. Where's that?
I don't know
children.
which screen you're looking at,
Of
but
children.
yeah, the statistics.
kids.
The statistics.
The statistics shown to me here on this screen from hopefully an authoritative place says trans kids, 90% of who
D-trans.
go change their mind.
We've got to distinguish between children who have been supported professionally and given time to explore who they are, and what do we define as trans kids? You know, that again, we're creating these labels here. What do we mean
Well, we're
by
not.
that?
You are people like you. This is a problem that is being brought out and made to be on everybody's minds when it is a minority of a minority that you're
Exactly.
talking about.
1%. Less
So
than 1%
back
of the
off. Why
population.
do people like you keep it in the front page of the papers all the time by mining? Let people decide
we
what they
don't.
should or
I'm
shouldn't
sure-
do. No, you are responsible, and people
I don't
like
keep
you.
it in the press.
You are responsible for coming on a show like this and winding me up. So you are responsible. This is a tiny issue that's been blown out of proportion by people
Yeah, I
like
agree.
you.
I agree.
Why
I
don't
agree.
agree with
People
me
like
because I'm
me
having a
Stop
go at
agreeing
you.
with
being
him.
bullied. We're being bullied in everyday life by politicians.
No,
by
you're not.
right-wing media,
Well, it's the
and
trans lobby that's bullying other people, isn't it?
I'm not a lobby. I'm not a lobby.
Well, you're
I'm
not,
a
no,
woman
but the
who gets
trans
on with
lobby.
her life.
Why
You know,
don't you-
J.K.
I
Rowling.
work
Look
with
what they did to
organisations.
J.K. Rowling.
Well,
I think you
I
disgust
don't know.
me,
I've
to be
never met
honest.
her. I don't
no,
know her.
you disgust me because you are really keeping this in
Oh,
the public
come
eye.
on.
Because because you're
That's
making
very
a good
inflammatory
chat here.
language.
I don't care. That's
You're
what
being
I'm
very
known for.
rude.
Why
What
come
do you
on the
think-
programme?
Disgust you.
What do you think about trans in sport?
Hang on.
and
I
in
think we've had
women's
enough of
spaces?
this interview. Thank you very much indeed. Goodbye. Because quite frankly, I think making this public, I said goodbye. I think making this public and talking about it the whole time is
Lips are
doing
moving.
more harm than good. It is a very small amount of people, this, and to go on about it the whole time, everybody's going, oh, I might be trans, I might not be trans. Let people decide. Let their parents and their medical practitioners make the decisions that need to be made. But to a child, under the age of 16 anyway, you change your mind about what you want to be the whole time.
Someone says I should have said yes when he said offered to lift his skirt. We'll take a break on that.